good afternoon and also here. Today we are gathering here to discuss a topic on ground testing as well as the flight testing in the rockets and missiles. Let's take an example. Before a new car is sold, actually it is manufactured in the factory and it will go for a testing in the factory itself to check for its engine and as well as its performance. After that only it has been taken to the runway or on road to check for the real time performance how it is. But there will be a changes. What we are expecting on ground testing as well as the real life testing. Both are not similar with respect to the conditions, it will change. The same approach is tested in the rockets and missiles. Both will be tested as a ground testing is there as well as the flight testing. Two different approaches is there. Ground testing means it will be the system should be tested before launch on the earth itself. But the real time analysis, the testing will be done only at the time of launching. That is real time of launch is called flight testing in the rocket missiles. So that's all. Now the types of ground testing as well as the flight testing, the rockets and missiles, everything will be elaborated by our mentees by one by one.
Good afternoon, I am Joseph from third year aerospace. I am here to discuss about the testing that conducted before the launch of any spacecrafts. So, the spacecraft before getting into before launching it, we conduct two different tests. One is ground testing and another one is flight test. So, on the ground test, what it is done means. What the avionics and the fuel level and how the fuel is stored, the temperature of fuel, likewise checked before the launching of the spacecraft. Because there will be checklist provided to the engineers who conduct all these things. After this, what happens is flight testing. They don't actually do the flight test by launching it. They simulate the situation. They simulate the situation like. They take engine separately and they conduct the static test and they take out results as an output, and based on the result they check if any output is in a negative way or negative manner, then they correct it. Likewise they conduct tests both ground and flight test, and they take the values and they correct if any mistakes are lost that happen during this test. This is how the flight test is conducted, and the rest of the concept will be explained by minutes.
Good afternoon. Boston from third year discipline. So now I will explain about ground testing. Ground testing is performed while the vehicle is on ground without actual flight. The main objective is to verify the structural strength, system functionality, and engine performance. Some key types of ground testing includes structural testing, wind tunnel testing, and engine testing, and then vibration testing. So structural testing means checking the load bearing capacity, and wind tunnel testing analyzing the aerodynamic behavior. Third, measuring the thrust and fuel of engine testing, and then last the vibration testing ensures the stability under dynamic loads. So, for example, rockets undergo static fire test where engines are filled with the vehicles fixed in position. Ground testing reduces risks and ensures that only safe system proceed to flight testing.
So I am Kavya from third year aerospace department. So let me tell about the ground testing. So nowadays we are using the advanced ground testing techniques, which will be testing at the real world condition as close as possible. So some of the major testing routes like thermal testing. So thermal testing is the one, since the spacecraft need to go into the space with high temperature. So thermal testing will ensure that the material can withstand high temperature. Next one is avionic testings. So this will help in testing the navigation and control system of the spacecraft. Next is the hardware in-loop testing. So this will integrate the software with the real components of hardware, and it can be tested. So testing at the ground level is very easier and it is cost efficient, and identify the failure is more useful for us than testing at the flight. So it takes a lot of cost, and also ISRO and NASA were doing the rigorous testing on these ground tests, and they were passing the system. After the ground test were passed, the system will go
about the flight testing. So flight testing are done in real world condition where during the flight testing the tests are conducted based on the speed, stability and performance of the rocket or missile. So this test whether the rocket and missiles are working in the good condition. So during the flight testing, the sensor collect all the data like temperature and velocity. So this make sure the engineers are getting the main inputs like whether the rockets and the missiles are working, every parts are working correctly or not. So basically flight conditions, flight testing condition make sure that the rockets and missiles are working in good way or not.
Good afternoon all. I am Davanti from third year Aerospace Engineering. So I am here to conclude this case study. So to conclude, ground testing and flight testing together is important in this method. So these both ensures security and safety for the aircraft. So ground testing ensures safety before the flight, and flight testing ensures safety for the real world environment. So together they reduce the risks, improve design and ensure mission success. Without these testing phases, the aircraft, the aerospace components would not be reliable and they would not have any certification. Thank you.
Yes, I said earlier, ground testing as well as flight testing is very much important to go for the readiness of the particular aircraft or rocket anything else. Here we are discussing the rockets and missiles to ensure the readiness, the plane for safety as well as performance, and it can be comparable with respect to the ground testing as well as the flight testing. But the risk factors are very high. In ground testing, risk factor is very low. But in flight testing, the risk factors are very high as well as explosion activity takes place. As well as mission point of view, mission oriented point of view also, there will be a lot of changes. So it will be rectified once everything happens, and it has to be analyzed by the experts. So it's a nice contribution from our mentor side. They have explained clearly about the ground testing and the flight testing, the rockets and missiles. We will meet in another session with a different topic. Thank you all.